Across the Shiba Inu ecosystem, something quiet but powerful is happening in the background. No loud tweet, no dramatic announcement, just a few subtle moves from one familiar name, Kusama. Bio changes, location shifts, and whispers of a bigger plan are circling the community. On 19th November, attention has locked onto these signals. Are they hints, misdirection, or the start of a new chapter? Let's break everything down carefully. Welcome to Dr. Crypto, your daily serving of Shiba. This is the spot for you if you're curious about anything related to Shiba. If you want to keep informed about all the latest news forecasts and stay ahead of the crypto industry, subscribe. To get more Shib news, be sure to click the like button. Please note that by the time you see this video, some rates may have changed. Financial advice is not included in this video. Kusama is not just another personality attached to Shiba Inu. For many in the community, he represents the creative and strategic core behind the project's evolution. Over the years, his words have been closely tied to key phases of growth and controversy. When he speaks, the market listens. But in 2025, his communication style shifted once again. Instead of constant tweets and open commentary, he moved into a quieter, more symbolic mode, appearing rarely, yet leaving clues through his profile and actions. Earlier in the year, he stepped back from daily public engagement and focused more on long-term work behind the scenes. That move made every small update more significant. A single line added to his bio, a location change, or even an indirect reference suddenly became something the community tried to decode. By the time 19th November arrived, weeks of subtle clues had built up, and people across the Shiba Inu world were trying to connect them into a bigger picture. The subtle activity that everyone talks about is not a single dramatic post, but a chain of carefully timed updates. After a long silence, Kusama returned to his X profile with a refreshed bio, describing himself as a founder, innovator, and visionary, finishing with an invitation for people to tune in. From there, his listed location started changing in ways that felt anything but random. First came a mysterious phrase that sounded more like prophecy than geography. Then came a shift to a cryptic date-style reference, later to a European city. None of these changes were explained with a proper thread or official statement. That silence is exactly what gave them power. The community began to treat his profile like a puzzle board. Some saw it as a countdown toward a new release. Others believed the locations symbolized different phases of the Shiba Inu roadmap, or perhaps teased future partnerships and deals. The story for 19th November is not about a new message that day, but about the fact that, by this date, the entire community had locked its attention onto this sequence of small moves. While emotions and theories swirled, the market itself reacted in a surprisingly calm way. Around mid-November, Shiba Inu traded in a tight band just below the 1,000 units region, holding strongly in the upper hundreds. The market cap stayed near the $5 billion area, and daily trading volumes often moved between roughly $130 million and $180 million. Price action was steady. No sudden spikes, no flash crashes. For traders who remembered earlier cycles where any rumor sparked chaos, this felt very different. That calmness tells its own story. Strong volume with stable price action usually means accumulation rather than pure speculation. Instead of wild emotional trades, the market appeared to be dominated by players quietly building positions. Each small move from Kusama added narrative fuel, but it did not shake the structure. The band between roughly 800 units and 900 units became a kind of staging ground where buyers defended the bottom and sellers failed to push the price meaningfully lower. On-chain and chart data added more depth to this picture. Reports surfaced of large outflows of Shiba Inu from exchanges, with hundreds of billions of tokens moving into private storage. When investors pull tokens off exchanges, they signal that they are not looking for quick exits. They plan to hold. At the same time, technical charts showed prices compressing into a tighter structure, with daily ranges narrowing while volume remained healthy. Some analysts describe this as the classic buildup before a larger move, pointing to multi-week patterns that looked like coiled energy rather than exhaustion. On longer time frames, the relationship between the main moving averages hinted at a possible turning point. The slow and steady convergence of long-term trend lines suggested that the market might be preparing for a shift that would matter not just for days or weeks, but potentially for months or years. When this kind of structure appears at the same time that the project's key figure is quietly active, it naturally intensifies speculation about what might be coming next. Beyond charts and flows, there is another piece of the story. What Kusama is reportedly focusing on while he remains mostly silent. Some inside reports describe him working intensely on a set of AI-driven ventures, with the goal of directing their success back into the Shiba Inu ecosystem through token burns and ecosystem strengthening. In that light, the cryptic bio and location updates start to look like pieces of a slow-motion headline. Instead of spelling out plans in plain language, he might be hinting that a more ambitious, externally funded chapter is forming in the background. The community response to all of this has been dramatic but not chaotic. On social platforms, every change to Kusama's profile triggered new waves of discussion. People dissected the symbolic phrase he used, debated the meaning of the location changes, and tried to link Hawaii to potential deals, meetings, or conferences. Some saw it as marketing theater, others as creative storytelling. Many simply took it as reassurance that he is still active, still paying attention, still pushing something forward. At the same time, there has been a noticeable rise in maturity among Shiba Inu supporters. More voices now say, hints are fine, but real progress must show up in burns, Shibarium usage, and new integrations. The community's emotional energy is no longer tied solely to words, but also to metrics. Developers associated with the ecosystem have continued to communicate technical updates, security work, and infrastructure improvements, even as Kusama himself stays mostly in the shadows. That separation between quiet leadership and ongoing development brings a sense of stability to the story. From November 19th's vantage point, the future depends on how these subtle signals connect to concrete actions. In the near term, traders and long-term holders alike will watch for any follow-up from Kusama that moves beyond profile tweaks. A new article, a podcast appearance, a detailed post about AI ventures or ecosystem expansion. If such updates line up with the hints already dropped, they could form a powerful narrative arc. Combined with existing accumulation and tightening chart structures, a strong announcement could easily trigger a new wave of momentum. Over a longer horizon, the real test will be whether Kusama's behind-the-scenes mission results in larger burns, stronger utility, and broader adoption. If external projects he is linked to start feeding value into Shiba Inu, then this quiet chapter may later be remembered as the prelude to a louder, more impactful phase. If not, the community may begin to treat symbolic communication as less meaningful and demand more direct clarity. Looking at the situation with a balanced lens, Kusama's subtle activity brings both opportunity and risk. It keeps the narrative alive, reassures followers that he has not vanished, and keeps speculation buzzing about what comes next. At the same time, it raises expectations, and high expectations can be dangerous if not matched by solid results. The positive sign is that the market itself seems to have learned from past cycles. It is not jumping wildly on every hint. It is watching, tracking, and waiting for proof in the numbers. As 19th November fades into the next news cycle, one thing is clear. Even in silence, Kusama remains a central character in the Shiba Inu story. Through a few words in a bio, a handful of location changes, and an aura of mystery, he has once again turned the community's eyes toward the future. Whether these subtle signals are the first notes of a much bigger announcement or simply the style of a leader who prefers whispers to shouts, the next moves, on-chain and off-chain, will reveal how much they truly mean. The day is over now. Remember to give it a big thumbs up. To see our most recent material, share it and subscribe to the channel.